Welcome to BaseballGuys.com. I'm your host on Around the Horn, Ray Flowers. Alex Avila, one of the best hitting catchers in baseball last year, 19 home runs, 85 RBIs, a power bat. He has not showed that power bat this season for the Tigers, and now things are about ready to get even worse. He's been dealing with the hamstring issue of late, sat out 4 games, returned to action last night, and re-aggravated the situation. And the belief is, almost a certainty at this point, that Avila is going to have to be placed on the disabled list. Obviously, they lost those 5 days. They can't backdate the DL stint because of his appearance last night. Jim Lincecum says, hey, look, blame me for that. Again, 2 weeks, hopefully he'll be back, and hopefully he'll return as the 2011 version and not the 2012 version at the dish. Maybe this will allow his body to heal, get his mind straight a little bit. So what did the Tigers do? They go to Gerald Laird. And, you know, if you're in an AL league, sure, you pay attention because he's going to get the at-bats. If you're in a mixed league, it better be a 15-team league, and you better be starting 2 catchers if you're really looking at Gerald Laird. He's just not a very good hitter. They brought up Brian Halladay to serve in a support role, another name to keep an eye on in AL leagues, but the Tigers are going to just have to look to get by until Alex Avila is ready to return. Colby Rasmus had a huge return for fantasy relevance last night. 5 hits, 3 RBIs, 4 runs scored, and all of a sudden everyone remembered, well, that Colby Rasmus guy, he's a pretty talented player. Now, there are all kinds of questions about his mental makeup, about his focus, about the interference from his father, one of the main reasons the Cardinals traded him to the Blue Jays, but the guy has talent. Just 2 seasons ago, 2010, he hit in the 270s, he had 23 home runs, 66 RBIs, scored 85 times, and tossed in 12 steals just for the fun of it. He can be a very, very productive fantasy performer if he keeps the strikeouts down, if he maintains his focus, and if he remains consistent. Those things have been extremely hard to find for Colby Rasmus. But if he's on your waiver wire, now's a good time to take a shot at him. You never know, you might catch the proverbial lightning in that bottle. Lightning in the bottle, well, that bottle has blown up because of that lightning. If you're talking about Andy Pettitte, who has been terrific since he returned from retirement for the Yankees. Now, the guy's 40 years old. He didn't pitch last season. Okay, so what he is doing right now makes no sense at all. And what am I talking about? Well, he currently has a strikeout rate of over 8 batters per 9 innings, which would be a career best. He's got a 4.57 strikeout to walk ratio, which would be, again, a career best. He's got a ground ball to fly ball ratio that would be the best since it was in 2004. He's got an ERA that would be his best since 2004. Is a 40-year-old pitcher who didn't pitch last season going to continue all that? I bet you he's not going to continue any part of that. To this point, he has been terrific. My advice to you, if you own Andy Pettitte, you can ride him until the wheels start to fall off and things slow, but it'd probably be even better at this point to trade Andy Pettitte. He's been fantastic. He pitches for the Yankees. People probably forget that the last 4 or 5 years before he retired, he was really just a league average pitcher. Andy Pettitte is pitching over his head. He's been terrific. See if you can parlay that into a more usable piece for the rest of the season. Quentin, he's another guy you might want to parlay, but at the same time, how do you trade a guy who's hitting .522 with 5 home runs, 9 RBIs, 7 runs scored, and a 1.925 OPS since he returned to the Padres? It's 23 at-bats. The guy's hitting .522 with 5 home runs, proving, showing he's the modern-day Babe Ruth. Now, we all know this isn't going to happen. Video games don't post numbers like this. Quentin has been spectacular since he returned from his knee issue. A lot of things going on here. Batting average in his career is in the 250s. He is constantly injured. Hopefully he doesn't pick up another injury, but we've never seen him play, day after day after day. That has always been the big concern with him. Quentin has 25 to 30 home run power. Obviously, you have to prorate that because he's not going to play a full season of games. There are certainly spots where Carlos Quentin is of value. And even in the 12-team mixed league as a 5th outfielder, he's a fine option. But don't fool yourself into thinking this guy's going to go on some terrific run for the next month, 2, 3 months. It's not going to happen. It's not the hitter he is. It's not who he's going to be, especially playing at Petco. So be careful not to overestimate the amazing start to the season by Carlos Quentin. Huston Street returns from the disabled list, and he did so last night. He had a lat issue that kept him out for a while. He returned. He picked up the victory, actually, in his first game back. Didn't look great. Struggled a bit. Not a surprise at all because he doesn't have a lot of work under his belt, obviously, since he was injured. Dale Thayer, you probably want to hold on for a little bit longer if you're in a mixed league. You never know. Street could always come up with another injury. That has been his bugaboo through his entire career. But if Huston Street is healthy, he will be the 9th inning guy for the Padres. He will have a tremendous amount of success. He always does. You can activate him right now if you own him. Again, he got the victory last night in his first appearance. Alfonso Soriano. Yeah, there's a name everyone loves to hate. I probably should have talked about him after Mr. Quentin because they're very much the same player, but I'll talk about him now. Last 10 games for Alfonso Soriano. 5 home runs, 9 RBIs. How many people knew that? How many people are aware of that? I know, pretty impressive, huh? That pushes his season total to 9 home runs. That's more home runs than Nelson Cruz and Nick Swisher. It also pushes his RBI total to 36. That's more RBIs than Curtis Granderson has this year. And by the way, Alfonso Soriano also has a 10-point batting average advantage over Curtis Granderson this season. Now, I'm not making a stupid comparison between the two and saying you'd rather have Alfonso Soriano than Curtis Granderson, but my point here is Alfonso Soriano still has value. He still has a role on almost all fantasy squads, mixed league, and only all of that. He has a power bat. He'll continue to drive in runs even if he doesn't steal bases and even if that batting average is middling for the Cubs. And then finally, talk about a guy who's been a middling performer this season. Tim Lincecum on the hill continues to disappoint. Now, last night he had 8 strikeouts and 1 walk against the Padres, which leads you to think, oh, he pitched a great game. And he did for all but 1 inning. Unfortunately, he allowed 4 runs, didn't get the victory. The Giants fell to 2-10 in his 12 starts this year. Think about that. 2-10 in the 12 times he's taken the hill are the Giants. Now, Tim Lincecum, I get questions about him all the time. People are so concerned, and you have every right to be concerned because the production hasn't been there. But I'll point this fact out, and I've said it repeatedly. The ground ball to fly ball ratio with Lincecum is the same. The strikeout walk is the same. I'm not worried about a lost mile an hour or 2 off the fastball. That's not the problem. The problem here is twofold. Number 1, he's been getting hit harder than he ever has before, and I think that will return to normal as the season wears on. And secondly, he continues to struggle with his location. Now, last night was a great sign, only the 1 walk in the effort. But he's still walking more than 4 batters per 9 innings. That number must come down for him to have success. And here is one last amazing fact with Tim Lincecum. He's allowed 45 runs this season. 45. 30 of them, 2/3 of all of the runs he's given up this season, have come in 8 innings. 30 runs in 8 innings this year for Tim Lincecum, pointing out exactly what I've been saying all along. It's not the stuff. That's not the issue. He's not hurt. That's not the issue. The issue is, inexplicably at times this season, he has lost complete control. He has no idea where the ball is going. And for whatever reason, he cannot stop the bleeding this year like he has in the past. If he could just remove that 1 inning in every start, it seems like that he gets destroyed. He could return to a pitcher that could lead a fantasy squad. Will it happen? I think it could. I'm not 100% certain at this point because, again, we're a third of the way through the year, and here we go again. But Tim Lincecum still has the skills to be someone you can count on in the fantasy game. If you can get him on the cheap, I suggest you do just that. I'm Ray Flowers, BaseballGuys.com. Thanks for joining me on Around the Horn. I will talk to you all again soon.